previous session. So anyone who was on yesterday, does anyone remember? Maybe I'll start off with what are the key capabilities of a functional consultant? What are the requirements for one to be a good functional consultant? Does anyone remember from yesterday? Or what does the functional consultant role entail? Anyone still remember what we went through yesterday? Okay, I'll probably just give a quick recap. So in terms of a functional consultant, excuse me, a functional consultant is more of a hybrid role. So we are looking at analysis, business analysis skills, the ability to elicit requirements, being able to gather requirements from users, from other stakeholders, and the other half of being a functional consultant is the technical abilities, which are to be able to customize and configure the Dynamics 365 platform or solution. And also, yesterday we went through some of the key components of the Power Platform, which are the Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agents. And I think we had gone up to slide 4. So I think let's carry on from there. I think one of the things that we were talking about yesterday was on data sources. So basically with data sources, in order for one to understand the types of connectors and what you can do with them, you must first understand the types of data sources to which they can connect, on the database. And there are 2 types of data sources. You've got the tabular ones, and you've got the function-based data sources. So in terms of tabular data sources, this is one that returns data in a structured table format, and Power Apps can directly read or display these tables through things like galleries or forms and other controls. And additionally, if the data source supports it, Power Apps can actually create, edit, delete from these data sources. So you can actually perform the CRUD functions, which is the create, read, update, and delete. And examples of these will include Microsoft database, SharePoint, and SQL Server. And then you've got function-based data sources. These are data sources that use functions to interact with the data or to interact with the data source. And these functions can be used to return a table of data, but offer more extensive actions, such as the ability to send emails, update permissions, create calendars, events, and so on and so forth. And examples of this function based data sources, you've got Office 365 users, you've got Project Online, and you've got Azure Blob Storage. And Azure Blob Storage, I think for those of us who have worked with Azure would be familiar, with Azure Blob Storage. But for this course, we don't really need to know too much about blob storage. We'll probably deep into blob storages a little bit later when we do maybe some DevOps type of stuff. And then in terms of connectors, what are they? These connectors are basically just a bridge, or so they bridge your data source to your app. And Microsoft Power Platform has more than 275 connectors which are available to connect to these common data sources. And then these connectors are divided into standard or premium, and some popular connectors like SharePoint, Outlook, and YouTube. And then you've got premium connectors as well, which require additional licensing for them to be able to use, against your app. And some of these, premium connectors are SQL Server. You've got Survey Monkeys, you've got MailChimp, and so on and so forth. And connectors tend to provide input and output between data source and the Power Platform, and this tends to accelerate the delivery of Power Platform business solutions. So for instance, if you're using Dynamics 365 apps such as customer service, you can set up a Power Automate to notify users when specific customer types are added. So what we'll probably do also today is we'll do a quick dip into the application itself and see what are the capabilities of Dynamics 365. And I've got a trial instance which I spun up today, and I'll probably be able to show you, a couple of things on that trial. So at least you've got a good understanding of how, things hang together, and what are the capabilities that the application, can bring to your team, or bring to the table. And then you've got things like actions and triggers. And so once you establish a data source and configured your connector, there are two types of operations that you can use. So you you are getting data from somewhere into Dynamics 365, or vice versa. So you are using connectors, which we said is the bridge between Power Platform and maybe another system that you could be connecting to. But in order for things to start working, you then need to put triggers, or you need to use actions to fire things up. So triggers are used in Power Automate, and they prompt a flow to begin. So if you want something to happen, you can put a trigger to say, for argument's sake, you can say, if the account has reached a certain limit, then do X, Y, Z. So the limit on the account will be the trigger. And these can be time-based, such as creating a flow, that runs every day at 8 a.m. So you could have operations within your organization that need to be performed, on a daily basis at a given time. So you can create, a trigger to begin that flow at that particular time of the day that you want it to run. Or they could be based off of an action, like creating a new row in a table or receiving an email. So you can also create an action where you say, if you receive an email, then do this. And you always need a trigger to tell your workflow to run. So there has to be, that trigger at some point that you need to actually, point to say, if this happens, then the workflow actually runs thereafter. And then with actions, these are used by Power Automate and Power Apps. And actions are prompted by users or a trigger and allow interaction, to happen with your data source by some function within the system. For example, you can have an action that will be sending an email in your workflow or an app or writing a new line to a data source. So as the name says, that's exactly what it does. It's an action. It performs a specific task once, a trigger has been executed. And also what you can build within the system. If you go onto the app source and you're looking for connectors and you can't find connectors that do exactly what you are trying to achieve within your organization, you've got the ability, to create custom connectors. And this will allow you to extend your app by calling, available APIs or custom APIs you're hosting in a, in a cloud or a private cloud, such as, Azure. And then the APIs, for those of us that are probably new to IT, API stands for Application Programming Interface, and they hold, a series of functions available for developers that are working with solutions. And then connectors work by sending information back and forth across APIs, and they gather available functions into Power Apps or Power Automate. But because connectors are function based, they will call specific functions in the underlying service, of the API to return whatever data it is that you wanted to bring in. And I think yesterday we also spoke about compliance and data privacy. So Microsoft is committed, to the highest levels of trust, transparency, and standards and conformance and, regulation, compliance, and so on and so forth. So they've created a broad suite of cloud products and services, which are built in to address, some of the most rigorous security and privacy demands for their customers. And in order for organizations to be able to comply with national or industry specific requirements, governing the collection of users' individual data. Most Microsoft provides the most comprehensive, set of compliance offerings for any cloud service providers. I'm sure you've heard about GDPR for those that are in Europe. And I know in certain parts of Africa, there is the Data Protection Act. So those are some of the things that have been taken care of by Microsoft itself, within the applications. So moving on to the next slide. Microsoft has come up with solutions, that are scalable, and you can use them, on various gadgets. So you can use power apps, or motor-driven apps on your mobile devices. You can use them, on web devices. You can use them on PCs and so on and so forth. So it gives one, the flexibility to not be tied onto the desk whilst they're working with the application. You can actually be working, with the app as you are, on the move. So you could have your app on a mobile phone and be working remotely for as long as you've got, a good internet connection. You can work on on the app itself. So what are some of the building blocks that are there? Like I said, the Power Apps is a collection of so many things. These are your services, your apps, your connectors, and these things work all together. And on the apps, you've got Power Apps, the home page, which is where the app starts. Whether you're building them from data or from a blank screen. And then you've got App Studio, and this is where you do the development of your apps. And in the App Studio, you can do your UI interface, design elements. You can build in your controls, put in your formulas and so on and so forth. And then you've got the Power Apps Mobile, which runs your apps on Windows, iOS, and Google devices. And then eventually you've got the Power Apps Admin Center, where you manage your apps environments and other components. So now for a quick demo, let me see if I can showcase the product itself. Can you all see the Dynamics 365 application that I've put on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So as you can notice, this is a trial that I spun up this afternoon, and I used a link that I provided yesterday. Is there anyone on the call who's managed to sign up to a trial instance? yet?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you been able to just try and find your way around the application? Is it easy to navigate around, or have you managed to face some challenges?
I try to, but I don't even understand what I'm doing.
Okay, not a problem. So when you spin up, a trial instance, as you can notice, this is one of the applications that we've got. So you've got quite a few default apps that come by default: custom channel integration, customer service admin, customer service hub, and so on and so forth. So for the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to use a custom app. Okay, so this is one of the default dashboards that your application would land at. So if you notice from the top here, I've got a few buttons or a few menu items that are at the top here. So the first one that I'm just hovering over is the search functionality, where you can search if you need to search against something, within the application. So let's say, for argument's sake, we want to search on cases. And so let me see, we've got 4 cases. Let me see how many active cases we've got here. So we've got, a sizable number of cases that are here by default. As you can notice, these cases come with different statuses. Some are still active, some have been resolved. And so what we are going to try and look at is the ones that are still active. As I explained yesterday, if you're working for an organization, and I'll use a university, a higher education institution, as an example for our exercise. So you could be employed to work for a university, and at the university you've got so many students that are learning at that university. But the students as well, they've got so many things that they need to get, or they interact on with the university staff. It could be someone is interacting with the university regarding, their fees, or their loans, or their grants, or their grades, or it could be, their personal well-being, and so on and so forth. So once the student pings in an email, what then happens is in CRM, a new case is created. And once that new case has been created, it's then sent to the relevant department. But the case itself will contain the original email where it came from, or who it came from, and that email is appended to that particular case. So whoever is working on that particular case, once they reply to that email, all the communication that's going to happen between the student and the university will be captured against that case, and we'll see some of that functionality when we actually drill down into the cases in a few minutes. So just bear with me. Let me go back to where we were just a little while ago. So as I was saying, we've got the search functionality. So in here we can search, it's a global search. So we can even search by names. Let me just see what's in there, so at least I can makes my life easy to search. Okay, fine. So if I go in there, I can search Dan Morris. As you can see, it automatically tells me there's a user called Dan Morris in the system. If there is more Dan Morrises in the system, it will show that as well. Let's see if we've got multiple customers with the same sort of name. And what it does as well is Graphic Design Institute. If I have a case which is under my name in the system, it will show that name as well. So let me start with so as you can see, I can pick out my name, and once I get onto the record, it shows that I'm a user, and you know, that is what I have against me. And there is so many posts that have gone there. I've got a default queue, so if anyone sends an email into Dynamics to this particular queue, it's something that will automatically fall into into my queue. And then we've got the assistant here. This usually notifies you, or it suggests new things that are there within the system. And then we've got a plus button. The plus button, you can use it to add activities. You can use it to create new accounts, new cases, new contacts. So let's create a new contact. So John Doe and job title, let's say consultant. We can link them to an account. So if there is an account that already exists that they are linked to, we can pick it from here. If it does not exist, we can create a new record. So we are creating a new account. So let's say this is ABC Holdings. ABC Holdings, a phone number, primary contact. No, don't have a primary contact. If there's a certain revenue that the organization hits on an annual basis, you can put it in there. If it's required for your organization, so let's say this organization hits $1 million every year. Number of employees, we'll probably say it's got 34 employees. Description, or it could be a reseller, of computers. And equally so, you can put their addresses, Tree Avenue. Whatever it is, CR55. Save and close. So we've already got that account linked to John Doe's account. So let's put in a few more details for John Doe. So maybe John Doe at .com, and yeah, doesn't seem to like that. Needs a decent email account. So let's do that. I see why I made a mistake. Let's do that for now. Yep. Mobile number, that's the telephone number, that description. So whatever description it is that you want to use, it could be, just a contact, a present, and their address, and so on and so forth. So let's save that. So we've added our new contact in there. So if we search, you can quickly pick out John Doe is already in the system. And if we go onto John Doe's record, you'll notice all the details that we populated. He works at ABC Holdings, is an IT consultant. That's his email, and a few more bits of information. And you've got the preferred method of contact. People are quite particular, in how you would want to reach out to them. So there's certain times when you say, I don't mind, they don't mind, they would want to be contacted, anyhow. Could be via email, phone, fax, or mail, or they're specific to say, any interactions that you need to do with me, I want them to be email based only, and nothing else. So if you notice now, we've got the record for John Doe, and from here we can also dive in and go onto the account. And accounts basically for keeping information that relates to organizations. Contacts are usually individuals, and accounts are organizations. So you can notice here for the organization, we've managed to capture their name, their telephone number. We can even add a bit more information here. as and when required. And if we go into the details, there's a lot more that you can add in there. What sort of industry are they in? So probably say, they're into consulting. If there's any codes that you use, ownership, is it a public limited company, private subsidiary, or other? So let's say it's a public limited company. Are they, for marketing purposes? These are some of the things that you can capture as well. Have we, done any marketing campaigns to them? If so, when was the last date that they were included in a campaign? So if an email was fired through, like a marketing campaign email to say, we are selling XYZ, are you interested in ABCD? Those sort of emails, the information, part of the information is captured here, where it captures the last date, when they were included in a campaign, and if they want to be sent any marketing material, you can also denote here, yes, they are okay, with being sent marketing materials, or probably they don't want to be sent any marketing material at all. And for billing purposes, as you noticed, I put that the company was in the UK, so it obviously defaults to the pound. If there's any credit facilities that you have with the organization, you can put it in there as well. If there's no credit facilities, fair enough, you can just leave it blank. And if there's any, credit hold, if yes or no, if there's any, payment terms that have been agreed with that organization, you can always capture that here as well. Things like shipping, freight, if there's any child accounts. And then this is key, as I explained earlier on, regarding GDPR, to capture, so at least that you are not going to be sending unnecessary, email traffic to your clients that they do not want. Because if you continue sending them emails that they do not want, you might be hit, with GDPR. So these are some of the things that, guard against GDPR. If the client says you can contact us anyhow, then by all means, you can send them, emails, you ring them every so often, you send them faxes, you can send them physical mail. But there are some clients that are particular and they say, you know what, for any communication that we're going to do with you, probably it's only going to be via phone and nothing else. Or we just want mail, the physical mail. Or they might want just emails, strictly. So as you can see, these forms here, there's quite a lot of information that can be captured, and also they can be customized to meet and suit an organization's way of working, and how much information that an organization would want to capture against their clients. So you've obviously got a few more things, like scheduling. If you want to do any, scheduling, you can always input it there. If there's any file attachments that are, associated with the organization, they'll all be appearing here. And you can actually, export documents from here to maybe Excel worksheets and so on and so forth. But we haven't got any, but we'll try and attach a few more documents a little bit later on. And you can see how that all hangs together. And if there's any assets and locations, you might have organizations, with multiple locations. You can add it onto here. And then against that account, you can drill down to see what activities are against that particular account. So with activities, these are things like, your emails. These are things like your telephone calls and so on and so forth. But I'll demonstrate this when we go back to the customer. And you can check what connections there are with that particular account. So you could have an account that is connected to another account, connected to another account. So those are things that you can visually see from one place. And you can see the related leads and related cases, marketing lists, and so on and so forth. So let's go to our contact. So now we're back to our contact. Maybe let me finish off with these menu items here. And then the fourth one that we're going to look at right at the top is called the advanced find. And this is what you use for searching within Dynamics 365. So Dynamics 365, it gives you the capability to search whatever is contained, in database. And you could search, all the tables or pretty much most of the tables within a database, and it will bring it up. And it's quite easy to use, and it's it's interactive as well. So you can build, your queries, like how you would build, queries with SQL. But here you don't have to write any code, because everything you have to do it, through an easy to use UI interface. So it's still loading. I don't know why it's taking forever to load. I suppose it's the first time. Let's try again. I'll comment to it. And here on the settings, you can then go into settings, and you'll be able to see quite a lot more in here. So for argument's sake, it's quite slow, yeah. So here, if we go into, setting your personal settings, you'll be able to see quite a lot of things that can be configured, for the application. So in the general tab, you've got things like what would you want to set, as your default pane, and the number of records that you'd want to see per page. So let me duplicate this. So if I go into cases, so I guess I can demonstrate some of these things here. Cases. It's unfortunate we haven't got too many cases. We've only got 17 cases, but on this particular page, let's say you've got 1,000 cases stretching from 1 to 1,000. If you wanted to see more records, you are able to show up to, a maximum of 250 records per page. So if I have 1,000 cases on here, then that means I can, once I set it to 250 records per page, I would have here showing that I've got 4 pages, which will be showing 250 cases on each page. And advanced find, once I get it going, hopefully we can get it to playable. You can pick and choose and select, if you want a simple advanced find, or you can have one which is a little bit more detailed. And with time zones, you can set your time zones. So as someone who's in the UK, I obviously use GMT, but you could have, people in different regions, across the globe. So all you need to do is just to go and select here what time zone they are in, so that when they do whatever work they do, or they are sending emails out, it captures, the correct timings against their records. And then default currency, obviously for me, it'll be the UK, which is GBP. And there are quite a few more things that you can put in there, like how you want to filter, the synchronization of Outlook and Exchange activities. What would you want to show on your activities, be it a day, a week, or a month, and the standard times, the formats that you want to display. So this could be, currencies, this could be time, this could be short dates, long dates, and so on and so forth. So let me choose the UK here. As you can see, I've chosen the UK, and I've got my currencies set properly, my timings, and so on and so forth. But you can also customize it should you want to, so that it shows specific values in a format that you would want it to show. So as you can see, with numbers, I can customize it to say, decimal, is this what I want to show for decimal, and so on and so forth. Digit groupings, and so on and so forth. And email templates, we haven't got any. We'll create new email templates, and you'll see what email templates will look like. But for email templates, these are used, say for instance, an organization that sends out quite a lot of emails. So you might want a standardized format in which to send emails. So you can create a template that has standard information in it. And then you might leave, a few gaps, so that if I was to write a letter to a student, I'll just pick out that template, and all I need to do is just to add in a few things, maybe their name, and their student number or something like that. But you can actually build it in a way that it can automatically put in their student number based on the requirements for that particular organization. And you can put in email signatures as well if you so wish, so you can create new email signatures that will be appended to your emails. So let's just create one here. And if you want, to put in, things like, your job descriptions and, things like that, you can always edit in there. So these are some of the things that you can save and close, save. Yeah, that's fine. And with emails, you can track emails within Dynamics. So you've got emails that are coming into Dynamics. You can say, I just want to track certain emails as and when they come in. Or you can say, you know what, I just want to track all emails that come in. So everything that is coming into the organization, you can track it there and then. Or you can say, I don't want to track anything at all. So you select whatever choices suit you. And then here you can put permissions to send error messages or error reports to Microsoft. Would you want to be asked, when to send error reports, or if there's an error with the application, you want a report to be sent directly to Microsoft straight away without, even asking you, or you don't even want to entertain the idea of sending any reports to Microsoft regarding the product itself. And then languages, you can choose what languages you want to use, but for now it's only got D365. So that's that for now. I'll close this one. And then we've got advanced settings here, which will take you to another page where you can configure settings for the product. Looking at the time, it's 2 minutes to 9. Let's do a little Q&A. Is there anyone who's got any questions so far? If not, we can proceed, but feel free to interrupt me as I go along. If you feel there's something that you need to ask, or something that I say that probably you might not have grasped completely, so that I can try and elaborate it a little bit more whilst we're still there. So here, when we go to settings, so this is usually what is seen by system administrators. This is where you deal with, a lot of the things, in the back end, in terms of customizing things, in terms of configuring things. This is where, the magic happens. So this is quite key, to understand what are the things that happen at the back here. So if I go into business management, there is quite a lot in business management, that can be configured. Things like fiscal year settings, things like queues, for emails. So let's see. Okay. So as I was saying earlier on, if someone was to send an email to my email account, my email account would be linked to a queue. So that email would land in that queue. A case is created, and I can see that case, in my views. And then you can set, your currencies as well. And I think I've shown this before. So this is the currency that we're using. As you can see, it denotes the active currency. And I've only got one currency. So if I click on all, it will only show. But if I want to input an extra currency, I can then maybe I might be trading, in multiple currencies. So I can add in a few more currencies into the system. Taking a moment. And then one of the things that I was talking about as well is when, as I was saying, when an email comes in, what it does, it hits the queue, and in the queue, what then happens is, if there's a record creation rule that has been, set up against that queue, that email is automatically converted into a case. I'll just quickly do a, simple. Creation one. So what we want is when an email comes in, that's when we want a case to be created. Or you can do that via appointments. If an appointment has been created, or a task or an activity happens, you want a case to be created. There's a lot of things that you can put in there against the creation of the case, things like conversations and so on and so forth. But I think for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll put an email. And then here, this is where you put in the actual queue, that you would want that case to be created against. So I'll choose this one. And then after that, all you need to do is, if you just save it, you will notice that when we create active there to specific queues. Yeah, that's fine. So what I then need to do, if you want this, to be activated. So this is the rule that I've created. And in that rule, I then need to create All right. So in here, you've got the case creation or update rule item. So all you need to do is you need to give it, a relevant name. But for purposes of this demonstration, I just give it a standard, a basic name. For rule name 1. So once we save it, it will then ask us to input a few more bits of information on what we needed to do in order to create a case. So this is where you put your condition of how, of what needs to be met before a case is created. So I'll probably say we've got an email that comes in. So the first thing that we need to specify the direction of the email. So it has to be incoming for it to create a case, because we want emails that are coming from students into the organization. So it can only be incoming. And if there's anything else that you need to, add in there, you can add it in as an how you would like it to meet your organization's needs. So I'll keep it very simple for now. And then so this is the condition. So we're saying for any email that comes into the organization or into that particular queue, we want to create a case. So that's the condition. So if that condition, this condition here that we've specified, if it's met, then the next thing is we're going to put in what actions we want to happen. There is a message here from Emmanuel. Is there a link where we can practice later? Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get, all the accounts that I needed, but what I can do for now is I'll give you a link where you can download a trial and sign up to a trial. And once you sign up to that trial, you can play around with that trial. And if you get to that landing page, what you need is you need to hit this tab here. So once you hit once you land on that particular page that I've given you, you need to go on the tab which says Microsoft, which says Dynamics 365 Customer Service, and you'll be able to sign up to a free trial. It gives you 30 days from the day that you sign up before it expires. So now, going back to our demo, we'll put in some actions. So what action do we want to happen if this condition is met? We want to create a record. And what record do we want to create? We want to create a case. Okay, and then on the case, we would have a lot of fields that we would want pre-populated as soon as the case has been created. So if the organization is using subjects, let's say for argument sake, it's something which is general. We wanted to say, the subject for that particular case is a general case. And for descriptions, we might want, to put a description in there. So what we'll then need to do is here, we'll take the email description and edit into the particular case itself. What else can we say here? SLAs, yeah, that's fine. And we could probably say, because these are cases which are created in my queue, so we might want the case to directly, point to myself, and I'm, the owner of the case the moment it's been created. So we can specify it here as well once we save and close. So what we've done here is we've said, if this condition is met, we want to go ahead and perform this action. And the action that we want to perform is to create a case. And we can specify any other, action as well. So probably what we might decide to do is to say, the email has come in, this condition has been met. We've gone on to do to perform an action, which is to create a case. Once we've created that case, we probably want to send an email out, an auto reply to the person who's was sent was sent the email into the organization. So here we can then specify who do we want to be put in the from field to, and to here we're saying we want it to go to to the customer. So or we could say we want it to go to whoever it's regarding. We then put the subject on there. And then we can put in whatever text that we want in there as standard text. So it could be, dear student, regarding your matter. And then we could probably say, what, someone from the team will be in touch with you, or, things like we endeavor to get back to you, in the next 2 or 3 working days, things like that. So you could make this as standard as, you would want it to, but I'm not going to put too much, information on there. So these are some of the things that you can pre-populate. So at the end of the day, what we've managed to do here is we've said, if an email comes in, we look at the email. Does it specify this condition? Yes, it's incoming. Fine. We go on to the next thing. What do we want to do? We want to perform an action of creating that particular case. And we set, properties of that particular case, what we want displayed on that case. And after we've created a case, we also want maybe to send out an email to the student, just acknowledging the fact that we've received a case, and we'll be looking at getting back to them, in a specified time frame. There's a question here from Kehinde. Please, can I get a link on how to create wireframe and websites? Our class is not for us to create a website. Really appreciate. Unfortunately, Kehinde, we don't have those things, on this particular course. We don't do websites and wireframes here, unless if it's anything, specific to Dynamics 365, yes, then we can help you out. But for this particular question, I don't think we'll be able to assist you, unfortunately. So moving on, we specified what we want to happen, and then we can save and close. And we've then got our rule here. So we've got a case creation rule. We've got the rule of what needs to be done when an email comes in. The only thing that will be left is just to activate this rule, and cases will be created. So this is one of the things that you can do, in the business management section. And as you can notice, we've got our case creation rule here, and it says it's in draft. The minute we turn it to active, then it will start doing what we endeavored to do. So we've got things like subjects. I think we've spoken about subjects. Templates, we've spoken briefly about templates, where you can build standard templates for emails and things like that. So here you can create templates for articles, email templates. I think we created one for signatures. You can do standard document templates and contract templates as well. So email templates, if you want to have a standardized template that users use when they are writing in to or responding to the students, you can build in templates. And as you can see, there's some here that have already been populated. So there we go. We've got an auto case template here, which is one you can use, and you can even customize it. As and how you would want it to look like. So there we go. So on the template, as you can notice here, we've got the details of the template itself. It's just an auto response, and the permission is at organization level. So anyone within the organization can use this template. You can build individual templates that are for specific individuals. So I can build one for myself that I can only use and no one else will be able to use as well. And as you notice here, in the subject, we can put, in the response, the case number and the case title. And then we can put in, like standard text in there. For instance, dear customer, so and so, we've opened the case for your request. One of our customer representatives will contact you shortly, and you can add in as much information as you wish. And this, once a case is created, this automatically fires across back to the person who would have sent in the email, and they will get confirmation that a case has been created and this is the case number. And sorry, yeah, this is the case number and this is the case title. What else have we got here? Service management. So if we go into service management, there is quite a lot of things in service management as well. Queues, we've seen queues. We can set, routing rule sets as well, where you create rules or delete case routing rules, and you put conditions on there to say, if this is met, then do this and do that. And then subjects, as an institution, you could have things that you deal with, on a day-to-day basis. So depending on that, you can create a subject tree that suits your organization, and it depicts what the organization does. So let's say, for argument's sake, we're using our example of a university. I'll create one maybe for a finance department. So we can have one here for finance. Edit. And as you notice, we've got one here created for finance, but we can also build child subjects on those subjects that we would have built. So you can actually build a tree. So let's try and add something on there. So we could have a child. So add that. And let's put another one. And let's put another one as well. So if you notice, for people that work in finance, we can see that there is multiple subjects that are linked, to finance. You've got grants, you've got intermissions, you've got loans. And also you can drill in, a little bit more. So for instance, you could have, a sub-child on grants as well. So you can build that in, let's say, so if you drill down, you will notice that, under finance, we've got grants, we've got intermissions, we've got student loan, and someone could be, asking a question regarding grants, but under grants, there might be, subcategories as well, which are, books, grant, and so on and so forth. So you can build this subject tree as and how you like it, and also making sure that it reflects what the organization does. And one key thing as well that you can use in Dynamics 365, you can use something called SLAs. And with SLAs, what tends to happen with service level agreements is these are more of a formalized method that helps organization to meet its service levels when they provide customer service and support. So you could have an organization that could have an SLA to complete a customer query within 48 business hours. You could have, so in Dynamics 365, there are sort of like two levels when it comes to service level agreements. This could be standard
You can't do
level
both.
agreements and enhanced service level agreements. Was that a question?
No, they can't look at it for.
No, that's all. Although it's an open event, she events.
I think someone has got their mic on. Okay.
What is that key back?
Straight ahead.
What is the key?
They will also straight ahead.
Straight ahead. It is a straight ahead.
Also straight ahead.
I think Felicia, you've got your mic
Anyway,
on.
it depends on you or more or
We didn't get half. But I see you.
Okay. Now moving on to customization. Here, this is where you are able to customize, the system. You can create, you can modify, you can delete components within an organization. And basically in the customization, when you customize the system, you are working with the default solution. And this is where you are capable of, modifying whatever you need to modify, add components, as and how you'd want to. But I would not advise anyone to work, in solution. That's not best practice. So the best way, if you want to do any changes within the solution, is to work with solutions. So you create a new solution, you put in components that you want to put in that solution, and then you promote the solution, which will then make the necessary changes that you would want to do in that particular environment. So let's create a new solution here. So call it demo 1. And publishers, you've got your standard default publishers, or you can have publishers that you create for yourself, depending on the organization's needs. And once you create a solution, you need to give it a version number. And that's the standard way of versioning solutions. So as you create another solution, or if we need to amend this solution, or we're making any edits in there, we just increase the versioning. So the next one will be 1.0.0.1 and so on and so forth. So it increments gradually from there on. And then in the description, you just put in whatever description it is that you want to put in for that solution. So just going to put demo solution for day 1. So there we go. We've got now that we've created the first solution that we've created. So once you've got a solution, you can then go in there and put in new things. It could be new entities. It could be existing, components. Depending on what you want to do, you might want to create a new dashboard. You might want to do reporting. You might want to do emo templates, and so on and so forth. So this is where you add, the new components that you want to create. So let's say we want to create a new email template. And let's say we want, a new case template. Okay, the first thing that you would want to do is to give your template name. So we might want to say, these are student loan or maybe finance. this could be finance emails. And then here, what you then need to add in is what needs to be added into the subject line and on there. So I'll make it very simple here. Probably and then following that, you can put in whatever text you want to put in there, as we saw, in the other email template. Once you've added in all the things that you think are relevant, you can then save it or save and close, and you've got your standard template in place. And save my template. Let's just pull in one that's already there. It's probably say it's just a marketing event notification. So we've got a template that we've got in there. And if there's any entities that you would want to add in, so entities are basically tables. So you can add, existing entities. So let's say, for argument's sake, we want to add what entity do we want to add? Let's probably say categories. And as you can notice, because it's an existing entity, there are already forms that are there within the system. So you've got two main forms and a quick create form and a quick view form. So let's say in our case, we want to add a quick create a main form and maybe a quick view form finish. So we've got that in our solution. If for whatever reason you want to create a new entity from scratch, you can do so as well. And as you can notice here, I've got the ability, to put in the display name. Okay, let's just create. Being a university, let's say we want to create an entity called books or book. Books. If you want to add an image to that entity and then the color to it as well, who owns that? Is it going to be owned by an organization or by a team? Let's say it's going to be owned by the whole organization. And then in there, you can put the description of that particular entity and areas that you would want that to be displayed. So let's say our entity, we want it to be displayed in sales, service, marketing, and maybe training. Just wait for it to finish the creation of a new entity. Yeah, there we go. So as you can notice, we've got our new entity which has been created here. And what it does as well is it auto creates some forms for you, and you can see the versioning here as well. I've got a new main form. I've got and a card that we can use as well. And on the form, you'll probably notice it comes with a few standard fields there, but you can create as many fields as you want. So this could be your book title, the author, the ISBN number, maybe the subject. Is it a book, to do with history? Is it a book to do with accounting, and so on and so forth? And maybe you want to put, prices and stuff like that. So these are things that you can create and you can add onto the entity. So you can create new field names there. So I'll probably just create one extra field. So it's a number. We'll probably say it's a whole number. Okay. So if you want to add in, new relationships, be it one-to-one relationships, into one, which is many to one or many to many relationships, you can add that in. You can put in business rules, hierarchy settings. You can put in dashboards. There's quite a lot that you can add in there. So this is our solution that we've created. And what I think we'll probably do is next time we'll do a purely a lab session where we build, an entity, we build the fields, and then we see how everything links together. Now, I think I've spoken for quite some time now. Is there anyone else with any other question? I'd like to dedicate the last 5 to 10 minutes to questions and answer. Let's make it a Q&A session. Is there anything that we've gone through that probably some people might have not grasped properly and they would want me to go over it? Or is there any other questions that you might have? So at least we can quickly tackle that before we end the session. Or any question, to be quite honest, which is just a general question regarding D365. Because the more we make it interactive, the more I understand what it is that people are actually trying to achieve, or what it is people need a bit more clarity on, so at least we know we are going at the same pace. Mike
Hello.
says, is it possible to go on?
Hi. First of all, I wanted to ask if in the real working environment, um, are we likely to build this up from scratch or going into implement or action what has been set up already with the Dynamics 365?
Yeah, this is what I was saying, that in the next foreseeable sessions, I would want us to have everyone to have an environment so we can do it step by step as I do.
Because I missed the class. I mean, I didn't know about it yesterday. I only got to see the message today, and I joined because it is of interest to me.
Yeah.
But going from what your presentation this evening, I seem to gather that it's like building up a case file from scratch rather than cases that are on there, and we have to kind of like extract information or migrate or implement information. So yes, it would be helpful if we can have, like you just mentioned, a scenario where we are actually working in like a live environment. So if we're in a workspace where we have to work with Dynamics, what are the things that we're likely expected to perform or do as part of the job description for someone that has experience of 365 Dynamics?
Yeah, indeed. So everything that you saw that we did today are some of the things that you're expected to do.
Okay, so basically creating like a profile for a case.
So yes.
More like a case management.
Yes, because what module we're using today is a case management module.
Okay.
So yes, if you're working on that module, those are some of the things that you're expected to do.
To build it up and create a case file and a profile for either individual or if it's an organization as well. Am I correct?
Indeed.
Okay.
Because the course itself, we're looking at one becoming a functional consultant.
Okay.
And those are the things that are required. Unfortunately,
Okay.
you were not here yesterday, but the first thing that we did yesterday was to try and understand what are the things that are required for one to become a functional consultant.
Okay.
And today we've sort of like carried on from there by doing some of the things that a functional consultant.
Was there a recording? Is there a recording of yesterday's presentation that I could find somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe yesterday's session was recorded, yes.
Okay. All right.
So you might need to reach out to the administrator and
to have access to you. Yeah. Okay.
They should be able to point you in the right direction.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And is that Mike? Okay, fantastic. Cheers, Mike. Is there anyone else with any other question or comments?
Second question. At this point, do you know when there will be a next class? So when likely to have a next class?
If you reach out to the admin, they'll give you the dates and times that we do this class.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, they usually post them in the chat group, but reach out to them so that they give you specific times and dates.
Will do.
Okay, fantastic. Any other question from anyone else or any comments? I take it we're all at par. No other questions or comments from anyone else?
Um, can I just check that? I'm just wondering, is there a way that we can reach out to you, say we get stuck on something?
Yep. I can certainly give out, I don't know, would you want to do it via email or WhatsApp?
I think WhatsApp would be great.
Because yeah, not a problem. I can give, I'll put in my number
Oh, okay.
in the chat.
Oh, okay.
But just bear in mind, it's a UK number.
No, okay.
So it'll be a +44.
No, okay.
So I'll put it in there now. Yeah, my only advice is, if anyone gets on the trial, just go in there and explore the solution. I think that's the only way you can have as many questions as possible, because you're most likely, you know, to encounter a lot of things that you probably not understand. So that's the only way you can then come back to me and say, you know what, I've bumped into this. What does it mean? Or how do you work this out? And so on and so forth. Any other questions from anyone or any other comments?
Hi there.
Hi there.
Please, I'm just looking at this app now. I mean, as the Dynamic 365, like as you were doing it, then I mean, I was trying to follow you, but this the new, I mean, this free version is not. I mean, it's not coming up the same way you are doing it. As in, there's something missing. And meanwhile, I tried to open a Power Hub, it's not even giving me access at all. And it's asking for what's it called, company email, maybe there's something like that. Company email. So how do we go about that, please?
Oh, you know, you mean in terms of signing up?
Yeah, the free version that we got the link for yesterday. So as I was, as I was following you, the way you were doing it, trying to open the cases, try to open the setting, everything, then it's not. I mean, it's not coming on the same way you are doing it. I mean, it's just. I mean, just another way. And then I tried to open a Power Hub the same way you open it just now. It's not even coming up. And I mean, eventually it came out. Then it took me to another place after asking me for what's called corporate email, so I mean company email, something like that, or maybe student email. No, I mean it's not allowing me to insert my own email, which is not a company email, it's a student email.
So it's not even allowing you to input your student email as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. You've got my number there. Let's speak outside this call. I think for the benefit of everyone. And then we'll try and walk you through that.
Your number is okay. Let me see. Okay.
I've put it in the chat.
It's not showing here.
I was gonna say as well, I can't say.
You can't say it.
Yes, please.
Did you put it on the Telegram chat or on the Zoom chat?
I've put it on the Zoom chat.
It's not. It's not.
We can't see it. It's not on the Zoom chat.
Interesting. Because on the Zoom chat, I initially put in the URL.
Yes, it's there.
You can
The-
see it.
Yeah, the URL.
The URL is there, but
Yeah.
there's a question after it, and then there's nothing else.
I did put it just after. Let's see. Okay. No, I think I've sent a direct message. My apologies. I sent a direct message to Kehinde. To everyone.
Okay. Good.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine. My apologies. I had sent it as a direct message to one person.
Yes, sure.
Okay, conscious of the time, I will close the meeting now. Is there anything anyone else with a burning question? If not, if anyone has got any burning issues, feel free to reach me on that number via WhatsApp. I'm available over the weekend. Alternatively, we can get together in the next session, and then next session we'll try and make sure whoever comes into the next session, please make sure you've got the trial version with you, in case I don't get enough licenses for everyone. So if you can just get the trial version, so at least we can do everything at the same time. As I do it, you do it as well. And I'll take you, on a step-by-step guide of some of the things that need to be done in Dynamics 365. So now we're just looking at Dynamics 365. We'll then move a gear up and then go into Power Apps, and we'll start making apps, model-driven apps, and a few more other things that we'll be able to build, moving forward. So thank you everyone for joining, and if there's no any other question, I will speak to you soon. Have a good weekend.
Thank